Good morning, I'm Steve Thomas, and welcome back to This Old House. At this stage of the project, we are all framed up, and that gives us the opportunity to walk through the interior spaces and experience them for the first time. One of the other big jobs around here this week is to run all the rough wiring for the security system. And overseeing that operation is security consultant Steve Yusko.
How you doing, Steve?
Welcome to This Old House.
Thank you.
How are you going to protect our mini estate here, Steve?
Well, what we have is an integrated system that's going to protect against fire and intrusion, as well as other conditions within the house. What we've done is we're going to protect the windows and the doors, the accessible openings, put motion detectors inside for movement within the house, as well as the fire system.
Can you catch the barn, too?
Absolutely. We have the barn as a separate partition, which will cover for fire and intrusion as well.
What percentage of American households actually have a security system?
Well, for years it's been about 10%, but recently it's grown from 15 to 20% of the homes in the United States.
Now, it is kind of a hassle. You have to remember codes, you have to punch it into a keypad and so on. And there's the expense, the ongoing expense. Is it really worth it?
Well, Steve, you know, you have a 200-year-old house here and you have a lot of risk. Of course, there's always the risk of fire, but you're getting gas pumped in here. You have potential water damage that could occur. So we can monitor those conditions as well. So I'll ask you, is it worth it?
So this is an integrated system, and it communicates with what they call a central monitoring facility through the phone, right?
That's correct. At the central station, there are professionals there 24 hours a day, 365 days a year that are monitoring your house. And what they'll do is they'll call the appropriate authority, whether that be the fire, the police, or even the plumber.
But it still seems to me, Steve, that the weak link is the phone line. Now, we've gone to some trouble here to underground our phone line, but we had a big storm here late this year in April, and it knocked out power and telephone. So what do you do about that?
You know, that is the lifeline to the central station. We have a great idea, and let's take a look at it.
Okay.
So what you can see, Steve, up in the attic, we've begun to run the wires.
Oh, yeah. And they lead over to what looks like a plastic box with a cell phone antenna sticking out of the top.
Well, actually, Steve, this is the backup radio that's dedicated to the security business.
How does it work?
Well, what this does is when the alarm transmission goes over the telephone lines, it also goes over this radio network to several antennas, which gives us redundancy for the signal to get to the central station.
So if one antenna goes down, you still have a couple more that you're talking to?
Well, even in the worst conditions, we could have our telephone lines out, there could be a huge storm and the power is out, and we could still get the signals to the central station.
So this unit has a backup battery somewhere?
That's correct. There's a backup battery that's built right in there, and that's also monitored by the control system that's located in the basement.
Great. Now what about this device, Steve?
Well, this is another wireless device that gives us the capability of using wireless transmitters throughout the house. Now, we'd use them where it'd be either difficult to wire or with a wireless key fob to turn the system on and off.
Well, that's great. Now, one of the most vulnerable times in a construction project is right now. The building's wide open. We've got tools and materials around. Can you provide us any protection right now?
Yeah, I would say probably your barn is your biggest concern. As soon as we're done with the pre-wire, we can get started with your security right away.
Great. Thanks, Steve.
Okay, take care.
And I'm Steve Thomas.
I'm Tom Silva.
I'm Norm Abram.
For This Old House.